Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Crypto Trading with CryptoTrader. Let's see who we got in the room today. Yeah, and if you're a new-time viewer, don't be shy, say what's up, and don't forget to click on that subscribe button, as well as the post notification so that you're notified every time a video is uploaded, or I schedule a live stream at a different time than I normally would. But also stay connected with us on Steemit, Twitter, as well as Facebook, and we are live streaming this on Steemit. So if you're live streaming this or watching this on Steemit, thank you for your support and welcome to the live stream. But yeah, today, things haven't really moved up to the upside. I still firmly believe that, the bottom has not set in yet. This is not the bottom. This is not the time to go all in. Yeah, this might be the time to, kind of get your feet wet a little bit, have a little position just to see what it does, in case it is the bottom. But, I firmly believe that the bottom is still set to, to come in yet. At this present time, we're still on a downtrend, even though we are having some nice, upward movements on a lot of these cryptocurrencies. And we're currently taking a look at ETC, Ethereum Classic. I'm sure some of you do have a position in this. I currently don't have a position, but this has really made some significant gains. And as long as my chart will work, but we had a drop to about under 1250, and then right back up to 17 bucks. So, from 1250 to 17 bucks, those are very significant gains, especially if you're just playing these nice little bounces that we're getting. This isn't going to be a long-term hold. Hopefully nobody's holding this long-term. And if you are, then you're probably not going to be watching these charts and analyzing it and possibly panicking, because that's really what's going to happen if you're a long-term holder. You're going to end up panicking when these dips do happen, and you're going to end up selling when you don't really want to sell. But from 1250-ish, 1233, it looks like. Let's see the actual price. $12.33, $12.34 was the low that it had basically set, and made it right back up with a vengeance. Right up to $17.15. So those are very significant gains if you're able to play these type of bounces and not really, overwhelm your stay in some of these trades, because this could downtrend right back down to where she came from, right around the $13, $14 range. And if you're not taking those profits, then you're leaving a lot of money on the table, especially if you got in at 1250-ish, and you didn't sell at 1730 or 1715-ish or even 1630. And then it dips right back down on you. So you got to really take advantage of these little nice upticks that we're getting, especially if you are day trading. They do possess some really great opportunities. Even on a downtrend market, in a bear market, there is money to be made. It's just not, buying and then hoping that it keeps going up and up and up. You can make money off these nice little $4 bounces, $5 bounces, and that's what ETC as well as Litecoin have been showing us. They can dip, $9, $10, and then come right back up $5 to $6. But you got to be willing to take advantage of those nice little rips. David, good morning. Welcome, sir. Ark, Gene, Daniel, welcome. The market, David, it's just, we are in a bear territory, even though, we are getting these nice little fake outs on a nice little uptick, $4 or $5 uptick. It's still nothing to be confident about that this is the bottom. It's making newer lows. As it's, gaining $4 or $5 on the upside, it's coming right back down and making newer lows, especially that 41.38. I firmly believe this 41.38 is going to be cracked. It might not be cracked anytime soon, within a couple hours, but within 24 hours, I can see this thing making newer lows. And then, coming right back up $4 or $5. And she has proven that many times, from 41.38, making it all the way to, let's see what this was. And this is on LTC on GDAX. 46.78 from 41.38 to 46.78. We're looking at $5.40. That's a $5 increase, and then it's giving everything back basically. Dropping from that 46.78 all the way down to 42.10. I was actually trying to play this last night, but before I went to bed, I actually put in an order for $42, and of course, I got to 42.10. It didn't execute at all, so that would have been a pretty nice, significant gain for me. To get it at 42 and then to basically exit out at 46. I wouldn't have expected anything higher, considering, she has proven to us that there is resistance, especially right, when she hit that 46.78, she came right back down to 42.10. So I wouldn't have expected anything past 46. And what did she do? She got up to 46.20, 46.23, and then she's pulling back a little bit now. But yeah, I firmly believe that she is going to retouch that 41.38 again, and possibly bounce another $4 or $5, or completely break it and get below $39 or hit $39 before making it right back up to 43-ish. But yeah, I mean, if you're just channeling this thing, on these nice little dips and then nice little upticks, there's definitely money to be made. But you just got to be in and out. You can't really, over welcome your stay in some of these trades, because they will get back, significant amount of the gains. Hello from New Caledonia. Awesome. Thank you for telling me where you're from. Do I think BTC bottom is roughly? No, man. I think BTC has more to go to the downside. I mean, she's proven to us over and over again. And let me actually pull up BTC's chart. I mean, she can drop 1,000. She can drop $800 from where she is if selling intensifies. She has proven that to us. Within a matter of several hours, she can make that $900 to $1,000 drop. And I mean, from the current level that she's at right now, 23.43, $1,000 drop will put it right to 1350-ish. But yeah, she's got more of a drop to go. I mean, we are way below our 200, 100 moving average. Yeah, we're above the 50-day moving average, but those longer moving averages will basically signal a nice upward trend. But she's completely underneath it, so yeah, she's got more of a downtrend to go. I mean, she is going to break. In my opinion, let's look at the overall chart. Maybe going back 2 hours without that flash crash candlestick. She's going to easily test the 2050 and the 2000, possibly that 1900 again, before, making, a $200-300 increase to the upside and then really coming down again. And that's exactly what a lot of them have been showing us. They can drop, they'll make it back up, they'll drop again, make it back up, and if you're channeling this thing, like I said earlier, I mean, and not over welcoming your stay, take a $200-300 pop to the upside, especially if you have 2 or 3 BTCs. I mean, that's, $600 to $900. But yeah, not over welcoming, that stay, and just take those profits, wait for a dip, and get back in again with the principal and capital. But yeah, she's still got further to go. This isn't the bottom at all. Josh Boy, Bourbon, welcome, bud. Let me see. I know I'm getting a lot of messages here. That I'm trying not to skip any of them. So we ain't at the bottom yet. No, dude. I firmly believe that we are not at the bottom. No, not at all. Not at all. Buying at 39, sell at 44. Dude, there you go. Exactly. Buying at 41, 42, and selling at 44, 45. That's the name of the game. I mean, take those $4 or $5 pops to the upside, and then basically take the capital and the profit and put it back in at 42.50. But yeah, that's the best way to play these things. And I wish I would have it would have hit that 42 last night, because I would have definitely had a position. Melbourne, Australia. Nice to know. Yeah, Mel's usually on this. I think he's from Melbourne as well too. I could be wrong, Mel, if you're on this live stream. Oscar, welcome. How many weeks do I think this bear market will run for? The biggest thing is, what's really going to happen after August 1st? That's really the biggest thing, because really after August 1st, with BTC, we possibly have a hard fork. And, if people are going to panic because of the hard fork rumors, then, I mean, we could have more of a downside. We really could. I mean, we're going to have these nice little upticks. Of course, it's just not going to be continuously downtrending. But yeah, it's, this bear market could last longer than August 1st, depending when the hard fork is going to happen. I think they're saying somewhere in the range of October, possibly. I could be mistaken. October could be for something else. To buy F at 176, we'll take a look at F. It is currently at $200. 176 isn't bad. Like I said before, you don't want to go all in, because I don't believe that this is the bottom. I firmly believe that Ethereum could really get down to that 125, 150 range. Could really get to that 125. And if it breaks 125 and gets to 100, then and it's a little scary. But that's the point that you want to be buying. You don't want to be selling at those points at all. I mean, I have Ethereum, and I haven't sold any of it yet. And I'm down pretty big in a hole. I was actually down in the hole when they gave me back some of the Ethereums from the flash crash. Yeah, the market cap, I looked at that earlier and I meant to pull that up, but let's go ahead and pull up the market cap real quick. Yeah, BTC dominance definitely went down from, I think it was 48 last night, yesterday that I saw it, to 46.9. So alts are definitely gaining traction because market cap was at 80 billion and change. So, alts have definitely gained back 2 billion while, BTC has been somewhat stagnant and hasn't really been moving to the upside. Litecoin has definitely, I'm sorry, not Litecoin. Yeah, well, even Litecoin, from $40 to 46, that's a $6 increase basically. Ethereum Classic from, 1230 to 1763. So those are significant gains that they're making to kind of bring back up the overall market cap. But BTC dominance is still going down. It's not maintaining that 46 or possibly 50% level. Yeah, Oscar, you know what? I mean, it could easily get to those levels at 1966, 1800, easily. A $500 to $800 drop on BTC is nothing. Looking at the chart, let's pull up the kind of overall chart. Probably got to go to, let's see, 6 hours without that drop of 6 cents. I mean, she has proven to us over and over again, going from 2800 to 1913, that was a nice steep drop. Made it right back up to a little under 3,000, a penny shy of 3,000, and then kind of given back majority of that. Gave back $1,000 from that 3,000, a little shy of 3,000, to about, let's see if this will cooperate with me, 2,050. I mean, so, a $900 drop, $800 drop, $1,000 drop for BTC is not unheard of. It can happen easily, and, it can come right back up with a vengeance. But the selling has to intensify. It's not going to drop to that level, grinding down continuously. There are going to be buying opportunities, but, when it has these type of flash crashes here, and these are crashes that last from, basically June 11th, let's see, to June 15th. So it lasted 4 days, just about, where continuously, I mean, it dropped, had a nice little fake out, and then dropped hardcore, basically from 2827 down to 2050. So she can make these type of drops, and if she makes those type of drops from here, that 1966, 1900, 1800 is definitely attainable. That's why it's very beneficial to have those low ball offers in, because you just never know. Yeah, I mean, Bourbon, it's just so many uncertainties that are happening within the market, and when those uncertainties happen, people are going to panic. People are going to lose faith. They're going to be like, I'd rather sit in USD. And plus, it's summertime too. You got to think about traders that are on vacation. So it's just almost like the stock market, where summertime, volume dies down, volatility dies down. October, November, that's when it really starts to pick back up, because people are really not going on vacation. It's cold where they are. They might be in the Northeast. So volatility, momentum tends to pick up. So really, I mean, we might not even see any really good upward ticks, in the sense that where it's just continuously grinding up with little minor corrections, not major corrections like it's happening now, really until end of September, October. That's possibly when we're going to see a nice uplift that's going to happen with all cryptocurrencies. But until then, there's really not going to be much volume. There's not going to be much movement that's going to be happening. A lot of people are going to be selling and sitting on USD due to going on vacation or whatever it might be. I mean, summertime, it's a lot of people are out and about doing things, so they're not going to spend too much time on a computer trying to trade. Logan, welcome, buddy. It's been a long time. Yes, there is a soft fork. Yes, but there's also going to be a hard fork, from what I've read, sometime in possibly October or November. And now these are all just basically rumors and speculations, but I could be wrong. But I do remember reading something about a hard fork. But yeah, the soft fork is going to be hopefully, hopefully it doesn't happen, but with user activate a soft fork by August 1st. But then after August 1st, there is a possibility of a hard fork that we have to worry about. November, December. Okay. Yep. I just saw that message. So yeah, so sometime around then, I mean, really, so there is a possibility that there is going to be a lot of volatility, to the downside, basically, until that clears, until the uncertainty kind of ends, with how Bitcoin is going to operate. We could see more of a downfall, and 1,500, 1,300, it's easily attainable from here. Yeah, bourbon, exactly. Shorting, I mean, there's probably a lot of people that are shorting right now. The market is downtrending. We are in a bear market. So what are people going to do? They're going to short, but it's a big risk you take, because you could have a nice parabolic move, and then cause some sort of liquidation to happen. Because really, when you're shorting, the exchange can liquidate you at any time, especially if the price moves against you. But yeah, I mean, shorting is a great way to make money, and there's a lot of people that do it. It's just risky, though. It's very risky. You don't believe Bitcoin is in a bubble, Logan? A lot of people don't believe it, man. But you really got to look at the other perspective of this downtrend that we're seeing. And it's not, crashing and then coming right back up. I mean, it's done that before. Went down $800-900, came right back up with a vengeance. Went from 3,000 down to 2,050, and came right back up to what, 2,700, almost 2,750ish. Let's see, a little under $2,800. So for it to gain $750, no, that's not. But if it continuously starts to grind down, we're in a bubble. I hate to say it, but we are. But I mean, only time will tell, to be honest with you. Only time will tell. There's a lot of people out there that think, we're not in a bubble, and there's a lot of people that think we are in a bubble. Jim, I'm not a licensed financial advisor, so I really can't advise you of your personal trades. You got to be comfortable with, your entry price, and have a plan of exit. If it drops X amount of your position, if you're down 10%, 5%, whatever you set it for, that's the time to kind of cut your loss and say, you know what, it's down 5%. I'm going to cut my loss of the 5%. I'm going to wait for a dip, and I'm going to buy back in. But yeah, I can't really advise you to sell, BTC and go into alts, or vice versa. You really got to do what's comfortable for you and what your entry price is. If you had a $3,000 or $2,900 entry price, then yeah, you could be in a little bit of a trouble, but this might not be the time to sell. If you did buy in high, because then you're basically you might be selling at the bottom, possibly. Good support at 1,800. I mean, that's a huge possibility. Huge possibility. If it gets to that level and people panic and start selling, because they don't really see that as a strong support, then yeah, it could drive it further than 1,800, possibly. Yeah, I've always stayed away from alts, to be honest with you. A lot of them are pump and dumps. I've stayed away from a lot of the alts. I trade a handful. BTC, ETC, Ethereum, LTC. What else did I trade? A couple other ones, but yeah, I stay away from majority of the alts. Basically, I mean, I think those tokens are just set up for pump and dumps, and that's about it. I mean, if you get in at the right time and hold it long term and kind of catch that pump at the right time, then yes, there is a lot of money to be made. But that's just a risk you're taking. I would rather stick to something I'm comfortable with, something that I know the patterns to. Because I mean, really, there's 850 cryptocurrencies out there. It's hard to analyze every single one of them and know exactly, the ins and outs, of their charting, and how they react to certain things. Where, if you're only, following a handful of them, then it's easy for you to analyze it, just by looking at the chart and know exactly, where it's been and what it's doing, because you've been analyzing it day in, day out. How is F doing? Not doing well for me, that's for sure. With my high entry, not really the entry that I picked. It was the entry that Coinbase picked for me. They gave me a very high entry of 317.82, I think it was, when I decided to do the refund. So no, it's not looking good for me at all. But for anybody that caught this at 175, 180ish, it's not looking bad for them at all. But no, I still firmly believe that. Let me get out of this chart, that we're not at the bottom. This still has further to go, and it could really touch that 150, 125ish. But yeah, I mean, this has given back more than 50%. From its all-time high of $420. I mean, it's down significantly. So I mean, with a lot of cryptocurrencies, I mean, they could easily go down 50, 60%, when they have a major correction. And it's basically right at that, 50% level, a little over 50% level that it's down from its all-time high. So, I mean, this could be the bottom, but this is not the time for me to go all in. It might be a time for me to say, okay, you know what, let's see if it retests that 175 level and see how it reacts to it. And then possibly take a little bit of a position. And then I have some skin in the game if it does decide to go up. And then if it does decide to go back down and retest, the 125, possibly $100 level, I have more capital to be able to put into it. So, going all in at this time, it's just not smart at all. It's not really the best strategy to take, considering we don't know if this is the bottom. I mean, it could easily go down, 60, 70, 75% before finally finding a true bottom. What do I think of Poloniex? Oh man, I'll get to that, but I did miss a couple other comments. Josh, I'm not sure what cryptocurrency you're talking about. Let me see. Let's see. Do I ever buy and hold? Yes. I have bought and held, actually held, not hold, for a couple of days, maybe a week or so, especially if it does decide to turn against me. I'm trading, some of the popular cryptocurrencies. I'm not trading some of these altcoins where they will stay down if they do decide to crash. These are cryptocurrencies that, yes, they can go down, 7, 8, $10, but they'll come right back up. I bought. Last time I made a purchase was LTC at $40. It crashed to 33, 38. Made it right back up, and I ended up getting out with a nice profit of $600. I could have easily panicked and sold, but I was like, this is a cryptocurrency that I followed. I know what it does. It will make it right back up, and it's not going to stay down for too long. It might stay down for 4 or 5 days, but it'll make it right back up. And what do you know? It made it right back up. So if you're trading some of the popular cryptocurrencies, there's nothing wrong with holding it if you are down on that position. But with a lot of these altcoins, Poloniex or even Bittrex, you don't want to hold too long, to be honest with you. If you're down on a position, you might as well cut that loss, minimize the amount that you're going to lose, because more than likely it's going to hit a bottom and it's just going to bottom out for a while until there's a group out there that decides to pump it, and then they'll pump it for a minute or two, and then it'll come right back down to where it was at before. I wish they would pass SegWit, Logan. I wish they would. I don't think we would have these issues right now. The uncertainty that's going to happen with BTC. It's just, somebody's playing games. Somebody's playing games with BTC, trying to accumulate it really cheap. And I mean, we talked about BTC, hitting 5,000, 10,000. It's not going to do it today. It's not going to do it tomorrow, but it will do it eventually. And I think somebody is just playing with BTC price to get it to be as cheap as they possibly can, so they can load up. I think it's all a conspiracy. And I was talking to ECS yesterday, and I haven't really been following the news. I haven't had cable. I haven't really had internet for about a week. But he was saying how there's just some news outlets that are out there talking about BTC when they've never talked about BTC, and that's a little scary. A lot of people think of that as good news that's being basically out. In my opinion, I mean, you got to think about it, in a different perspective. Think about it in the sense that, okay, why is it all of a sudden that they're talking about ETC, these news outlets, Fox and CNBC and possibly CNN? And when they really never really covered this, or even, CNBC, when they covered the traditional financial market, I mean, cryptocurrency is something that's really destabilizing their industry. So why would they cover it, for free, unless it's a paid, spot, they're being paid to cover that. So big money, I mean, they control this market. They really do. And that's really the first thing you got to think about is, who's controlling this market. It's not us, man, to be honest with you. It's the big boys, the big money, and they can cause this thing to dip to where they're going to start accumulating, or they can get it to rise to where they're going to start selling. And, they got tons of money, so they can start pumping it. And how are they going to pump it? Mass media news. These, in my opinion, they're paid advertisements, they're paid spots that these news outlets are talking about, BTC hitting 5,000, 10,000. But yeah, in my opinion, it's a conspiracy that they haven't even passed SegWit yet. We wouldn't be having these issues at all. All right, so getting back to Poloniex, you know, I have Poloniex. I don't trust Poloniex. Really, I don't trust any of the exchanges, to be honest with you. You know, there's a lot of shady things some of these exchanges will do, and I think a lot of the shady things do happen on Poloniex, Bittrex, you know, also GDAX and Gemini. I mean, there are shady things that happen within those exchanges. But you know, I don't think Poloniex and Bittrex are the safest ones to use, to be honest with you. You know, if you want to be safe, somewhat safe, I shouldn't say, you know, be safe, but you know, to be somewhat safe, you know, I would go with you know, Bitfinex, GDAX, or Gemini. You know, I think, you know, we're a lot more safer with those than Poloniex, you know, or Bittrex. So I have those accounts, but you know, you guys will rarely see me using those accounts to trade. I'll basically use those accounts if you guys ask me to take a look at some cryptocurrency that's not on you know, some of the exchanges that I trade on, and I mainly trade on, you know, 3 exchanges, and that's basically, you know, Bitfinex, Coinbase, and Gemini. Which Gemini, it's been a while since I've traded on there, but you know, you're only limited to 2 cryptocurrencies on Gemini, so you know, I try not to trade too much on there, but you know, it's really GDAX and Bitfinex. You know, right now everything that I have is tied up on GDAX. But you know, is it safe to trade on those platforms? You know, as long as you don't have majority of your holdings on one platform, you're perfectly fine. You know, you kind of want to spread them out. You know, if Poloniex goes down, you know, you have money in a different exchange for you to be able to use. And you know, and I've done that before, where I've had, you know, my funds kind of spread out between Coinbase or GDAX and Bitfinex. And then eventually I ended up doing a good amount of arbitrage, where I was basically moving the money out of Bitfinex because the price was higher on GDAX, and then being able to sell at a higher price. So I currently don't have anything right now on Bitfinex, but you know, the goal is to basically buy some LTC and be able to transfer it to Bitfinex and be able to sell it at a higher price, and then have money in that exchange to be able to trade, you know, IOTA, EOS, or Ripple, something that's cheap, you know, just to be able to put, you know, maybe 1,000 or 50 or 1,500 bucks into those cryptocurrencies. August, you driving to work right now? Dude, you know, leave me a comment at the end of this video if you have any questions to ask, and you know, I do my best to kind of get to those questions. Thoughts on Dash, man? I have not looked at Dash in a while, to be honest with you. But let's go ahead and open up Bitfinex. Dash 172. I mean, even Zcash. I mean, Zcash was over 300 bucks. You know, it's definitely come down a good amount. I mean, they all have come down. It's just not Zcash or Dash. But yeah, we'll take a look at Dash. Jim, that's a good way of looking at it, and a lot of people do. You know, they don't worry about, you know, the price of BTC. They only look at, you know, their accumulation of BTC and how much they're holding of BTC. And the best way to accumulate is, you know, when the price drops. You know, add a little bit more, especially if you're a long-term holder on BTC. But swing trading, I mean, you know, swing trading is probably one of the best things to do. I mean, you're channeling trading or swing trading, you know, and easily. I mean, you know, when they're giving up, especially with LTC, you know, when it's coming down, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 bucks, and then, you know, getting up, you know, 5, 6 bucks. I mean, you got to be able to take advantage of those. Yeah, you're not going to find that bottom, you know, of 41.38, but you could have probably gotten 42, 42.50, and then sold at 45.50, or, you know, 45, you know, 46.50, whatever it might have gone up to. All right, I am so far behind on these comments. So, you know, if you're watching, if you're on this live stream, it might seem as though, you know, there's a delay, but yeah, there's no delay. I'm just far behind on these comments. But yeah, thank you to anybody that's joining. We got 55 people watching, so I do appreciate you guys joining. And if you're new to this, welcome. And if you haven't done so, please click on that subscribe button, as well as the post notification. And then feel free to follow us on Steemit, Twitter, as well as Facebook. We are simultaneously live streaming this on Steemit as well too. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at Dash real quick, and then I'll try to get to as many of these comments as I can. I'm basically only halfway through the comments. But yeah, let's see. We'll probably got to go to an hour chart. But yeah, I mean, if you can channel this, if you can swing trade these, you know, it's the best opportunity, especially if you can find, you know, close to that bottom, or, you know, even within 10%, 5% of that bottom. But then, you know, don't overwhelm your stay in that trade. Find out where that resistance is, and sell a little bit at that resistance and see if it actually breaks that resistance. And if it does break the resistance, then you have a little bit more to sell as it's going up. Okay, let's see where the support is. Yeah, there's just a lot of up and down swings on this. So 155, 150-ish should be a good spot for this, because considering, it looks like at 150-ish, there's a couple spots where consolidated, a couple spots where, it didn't break through that level. So the 150 is actually a very good level to kind of look at to see if it's going to maintain that 150, or if it breaks through it. And if it breaks through it, it does have a different area of support. But that 150 is actually pretty good. And a lot of it has to do with, let me see if I can put some arrows here. Right in this area here, basically, I mean, it had a hard time getting above it, and it basically consolidated. This is just nothing but consolidation, having a hard time breaking above that 150. And when it finally broke above it, broke above it very nice. But, it did come back down a little bit. And when it came back down here, it touched that 150, bounced right back up, had a major sell-off here in this area, and it did break through it, but came right back up with a vengeance. It didn't stay down, and it didn't just consolidate below that 150 level. It came right back up. Here again too, it broke through the level with selling intensifying, came right back up, and that just kind of indicates to me that that 150 is a strong support. Also over here, didn't even really come close to that 150. Got to 159, 158-ish. So didn't even really get close to breaking that 150. And then currently right now where we are, twice that it attempted to break through the 150, but there's just a good amount of buying that's supporting that at 150 that's not really willing to let it go down. Unless the support kind of diminishes and the selling intensifies, that's when it's really going to break that 150. And if there isn't enough buying to kind of support it to bring it back up above the 150, then it'll just continuously consolidate to the right, as it's probably downtrending before finding really a nice good area of support where people are willing to support it. And if it does decide to break that 150 and grind down or consolidate sideways as it's breaking down, really the next area is going to be right around the 130-ish. 130-ish looks like, a couple times that it decided to try to attempt to break through it, and it just didn't break through it at all. So that 130 would be a second area of support. I think that's what a lot of traders are going to be basically looking at. Third area of support basically is going to be, it's going to be a little different, and I'll explain why. But let me go ahead and draw a line out to it. It's going to be like the 114, the 115 range. And the reason why I say the 115 range is previously what happened. So really when you're analyzing the chart and plotting out your support and resistance, you want to take a look and see what has it done in the past. What is so important about that 115 level? And if we zoom out of here, let's see. Because a lot of times these cryptocurrencies or even stocks, they like to make, a previous high that it had set. And so we're looking at basically prior to, what is this set? May 15th or May 21st. Prior to May 21st, that 115, a couple times it attempted to break out above it and just could not break out above it. And when it finally did break out above it, it broke out above it with a vengeance. And, of course, selling intensified, came right back down. And I mean, it came down hard to $82. But then when it decided to make it back up, it broke through that 115 and maintained that 115 level and never looked back at all. And you can just tell that really there was a lot of fighting that happened when it hit $82 and then it attempted to break out above the 115. Let me put that 115 back on. I just moved it to 122. So that 115 level, there was a lot of fighting that happened between the bears and the bulls for price action. Where's my 115? So right in this area right here, let me go ahead and put a circle there. So right in this area here, I mean, a lot of fighting to maintain that 115 level. And just basically, I mean, she broke above the 115, not with a vengeance, but hugged it. So that indicates to me, you know what, there's a good amount of support for that 115, considering, you know, she had actually broken through the 115, came down to 82 bucks, set up basically a new low, came back up, and, you know, she just didn't hit that 115 and kind of start breaking back down. She hit the 115 and kind of consolidated, had a nice little push up to 125-ish, and then decided to break back down below the 115 to get to 110, but came right back up with a vengeance. And ever since then, it really has never looked back. So, you know, if we are going to have more intensified selling that's going to happen, let me get rid of that. You know, where the price action is going to really be brought down, you know, where it's going to start breaking that 115 level. I'm sorry, the 150 level as well as the 130 level. That 115 is just a great spot to kind of look at for an entry. And that's probably, you know, if I do have funds in Bitfinex, 115 is really the area that I'm going to be looking at. You know, I'm going to let it come to me. You know, I'm not going to go chasing it. I'll let it come to me. And then, you know, like I said, if selling intensifies with a lot of uncertainties, then, you know, she could easily retest those levels. All right, let me get to the comments, and then, you know, 10:30, I do have to end this live stream. But I know you guys got a lot of comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. Scotty M, welcome, buddy. Better to have it back at a shitty position to have lost it entirely. Yeah, you are absolutely right, man. And, you know, we talked about this previously, you know, over a couple of blue moons with a shot of OJ. But no, I am grateful, you know, for what I have. But, you know, I mean, if Coinbase was going to do the right thing, then, you know, they should have really done the right thing for everybody and not really fudge the numbers. You know, and you guys know, I mean, I was left with 3.6 Ethereums after I got liquidated. You know, that was what I was left with. And they decided to calculate those 3.6 Ethereums because really I bought them at 250 and I sold it at 328. But they decided to calculate those 3.6 at a purchase price of 317 instead of saying, okay, that's what you were left with after we liquidated you. You know, you purchased those fair and square at 250. You know, we're going to honor that 250. You know, so they didn't even really honor that 250 with the 3.6 that I was left. They basically calculated it and said, you know what, that's going to be part of the overall credit that we give you, and we're going to give you the credit starting at 317, 80, 82, whatever it was. But no, dude, I am happy to not have lost at all. But you know, it's the name of the game. But yeah, thanks for your comment, man. I appreciate it. It's not too often that you comment on these live streams, but it's great to see it. I should buy Chaincoin. Crypto. Yeah, you know what? I don't know, man. I don't know. I say you guys know that I stay away from a lot of these crap coins, shit coins. I really do. You know, I just I don't trust them. I really don't. You know, I've analyzed BTC, Ethereum, ETC, Litecoin. You know, I've analyzed those. I spent a good amount of time, you know, really analyzing the chart. And, you know, I can just look at really the price and say, okay, you know what? It's at, you know, my second area of support, my third area of support. I mean, that stuff is just embedded into my head because I've just continuously looked at the chart and analyzed it for days and days. You know, I just I stay away from the other crap coins. You know, I trade what I believe in and I trade what I know. But yeah, I don't know anything about Chaincoin, to be honest with you. But you know, I mean, I'll take a look at it. I'll put it on my list. But it's got to be on an exchange that I do trust, and I don't know if I trust that exchange. Sherry, good morning. Welcome. CHC was a pump. You know what, man? There's a lot of coins, especially on some of these other exchanges that are just nothing but pump and dumps. You know, and that's what I'm afraid of. You know, so I mean, to be honest with you guys, you know, if something is going to be pumped and dumped, it will be pumped and dumped. And if it's up too high and you see it, you're too late getting into the game. There's no sense of you even risking any money, not even $1. You know, because these pumps don't happen. You know, they don't last long at all. They don't last, you know, a day or 2 days. They last maybe 2 minutes, 30 seconds at the most. I mean, you know, when you have an administrator that's running a pump and dump group and they got, you know, let's just say, you know, they got 2,000 members. You know, out of those 2,000 members, they're all not going to be buying in, you know, all at the same time. You know, you got maybe a handful of members, the admins, you know, the creators of that pump and dump. Maybe there might be 5 of them. I mean, they're buying 3-4 days in advance. but they're only buying a little bit every single day to not cause a huge spike in volume. And if it does cause a huge spike in volume, it's going to throw a red flag. I mean, I would see that and say, okay, you know what? Somebody's accumulating to possibly pump this in a couple of days. And I would probably get in if I can see that. Because really what's happening is, let's just say they've been accumulating for 3-4 days. Maybe they've been accumulating for a week. They have what they need. They're going to release, the whatever it is that they're pumping on Bittrex at 11 a.m. on a Saturday, and they're telling their members, start buying, just start buying, start putting in high buy offers. And at 11 a.m., once they announce what cryptocurrency it is that they're pumping, and they got their members, 2,000 members to start buying in, they're selling right away instantly. They're not waiting, 3 to 4 minutes. They're going to start cashing in because they got, people to start buying in at a very high price. And within 2 to 3 minutes, I mean, it's going up, 2, 3, 4, 500%. So that's, I mean, it could be the exact same thing with CHC. Let me look at CHC real quick. I don't even know what other exchanges offered on. Yeah, I mean, on 2 exchanges. And yeah, 91.6% on 1 exchange. Yeah, that's way too much. That's easily pumped and can be easily dumped, unfortunately. Circulating supply, 15 million, which is not bad at all. I wonder what the max supply is, or if they even have a max supply. Probably not. But yeah, I mean, I would be careful with a lot of these altcoins, crap coins, shit coins, whatever you want to call them. SC, welcome, buddy. Chaincoin, yeah, stay away from Chaincoin. I would. I mean, I would pick a handful of cryptocurrencies that you're comfortable trading, and I would stick to that plan, to be honest with you. And then, I mean, maybe allocate 5% to crap coins, and in the hopes that it does go parabolic. And if it does, go to basically nothing, then you only risk 5% of your money. I wouldn't risk a lot of it. Yeah, so I mean, I haven't heard of the guy, Suppleman. And I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, I've gotten so many emails and so many messages asking me to join their pump and dump group. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, you got promoters out there that are promoting this thing, and those promoters are getting paid. And all they want is members. That's all they want. So at whatever time they say they're going to be releasing, whatever coin they're dumping, they want me to start buying. And no, dude, I mean, that's just a great way of losing my money. The promoters are the ones that are getting rich. The admins are the ones that are getting rich, and everybody else is who's losing money. Yeah, pump and dumps are, they're scary. You don't want to get trapped in them, to be honest with you. Do I recommend holding Dash? I mean, Dash is one of the companies or one of the coins that I firmly believe in, and I haven't traded Dash at all. I've not bought a single Dash, but Dash is one of the cryptocurrencies that I do follow and that I would probably trade. But anything else, a lot of the other cryptocurrencies I wouldn't. I would probably put a little bit into EOS, IOTA, maybe Ripple if it gets down to like 15 cents, 11 cents. But that's about it, and those aren't going to be long-term holds. When they do produce that 100%, or even 60%, I'm going to be looking to lock in the profits. But I mean, I basically stick with, what I know: Ethereum Classic, Zcash, Monero, Litecoin, Bitcoin, Dash. I mean, stick to what you know. Stick to the top altcoins that have a great development team and that have a great roadmap outlook. Yeah, I try not to get involved in any pump and dump groups. not one of them at all. And the idea of creating, Crypto Traders Room was not to have a pump and dump type of channel. It was a way for us to basically share, fundamental or technical analysis on some of these cryptocurrencies, the best way that we can. And if somebody is good at charting, to be able to chart something and share it with the group. And, there's other people out there that are good at charting too, and see, what, if their charting analysis, if their technical analysis is the same as yours, and more than likely, if the more people have the same technical analysis that they're doing, more than likely the probability of that being profitable is going to be good. But yeah, but by no means, am I trying to run a pump and dump group out of Crypto Traders Room whatsoever. And if that's your motive, I'll be honest with you, that's a membership that we're going to be revoking. So, there will be no pump and dumps that are going to be happening out of Crypto Traders Room. Ant shares. You guys have been asking me about Ant share. So you know what? We'll go ahead and take a look at it. I think it's ANS. I could be wrong. I mean, Ant shares is supposed to be the next Ethereum, the Chinese Ethereum. But I don't know if it's going to do the same, price thing as price movement as Ethereum. Let's take a look at a one-day chart. It'll give us a better outlook. For some reason, red coin keeps coming up every time I go to Bittrex. That must be telling me something. I don't know. I would probably be happy if red coin came down to 10 satoshis. All right, Ant shares. Let's see. Definitely a nice move up. A lot of that probably has to do with China, but definitely a nice move from, let's see, a little under 50,000 satoshis all the way to 540,000 satoshis or 541,000 satoshis. That's huge. That's huge. And of course, profit taking is going to happen. But let's see where, I mean, it's going to have support right at 176,000, possibly if selling doesn't intensify. And volume looks really diminished on the sell side. $18 million versus 717,000. So 18 million on the buy side versus 717,000 on the sell side. So somebody's stacking up. Somebody's looking to purchase a lot. Now, whether that's a fake wall or not, who knows? You really won't have a clue unless you're really eyeballing that huge buy offer, and to look and see if it's actually moving within the order book, if it's rapidly disappearing and then coming back on, or if it stays on, especially when it gets close to execution price. But I'm not seeing anything crazy so far. I mean, 8,000. Yeah, nothing that would draw an alarm unless they're really spreading out the order. Yeah, really nothing in the thousands. 3,000, there was 8,000, but yeah, nothing crazy. So, or the order could be hidden, unfortunately. But no, I would wait and see if you're looking. I mean, I'm not going to be purchasing Ant shares, even though people are speculating it's Ethereum, it's a Chinese Ethereum. But I would wait and see exactly how she's going to react if she does decide to retest those levels of 176. If she does retest the 176 and selling, like I said, I mean, selling intensifies, then yeah, of course, she's going to come back down further. And if she does come back down, there is a possibility that she could retest, this high right here and on this candlestick. And that should indicate the bottom if it does touch this level and then kind of make a nice gradual incline to the upside. But if she just consolidates at that level, I mean, there's two things that could happen. It could go up or it could go down. So we definitely like to see it touch the level of, it looks like 34,502. Let's just say 35,000. And that's if she has a major crash. So really two levels, that 35,000 level as well as the 66,000 level. Those are levels that I would be basically, if I was looking to get into ant shares, that I would be putting in a buy offer for, which is a little bit of capital, not too much, to see, what, there's a possibility that she could retest those levels, considering she is downtrending now, and I don't think there's any sights of a nice uptick, maybe on a shorter time frame. Yeah, even on a shorter time frame, I mean, it's still downtrending. I mean, she is having a nice little upticks here and there, somewhere in the range of 5,000 Satoshis, or I'm sorry, 50,000 Satoshis, but not enough to be sustained, where people are basically either locking in the profits because of, they got in at 50,000 less than the actual price, or people could be, when it hits 250,000 and gets up to 300,000, if they got in at 400,000 or 350,000, and they're not looking to sell at 250,000, they might sell at 300,000, where they kind of minimize their loss just a little bit. But yeah, this is still downtrending. Nothing really spectacular about ant shares. Goldman Sachs is acquiring BTC in droves. It's just not Goldman Sachs that's acquiring BTCs. There's a lot of companies out there that are hoarding Bitcoin at the current moment, and I mean they're hoarding Bitcoin because of attacks that are happening, of hacks. A lot of companies. I mean, if there's a ransom for BTC, they want to have BTC to be able to pay it. And a lot of companies really don't want to spend millions of dollars on the infrastructure to secure the network. They would rather pay the ransom of 30, 50, 100 BTCs. So there are a lot of companies out there. So it's just not Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs' motive for acquiring BTC might be a little different than a lot of the other companies, but I'm sure they are acquiring it, in case there is a hack. Or possibly acquiring it because they believe in BTC, and they're looking to pump it to that 5-10,000. Later on in 2018. EOS is killing you. I think EOS has killed a lot of people. I mean, it had a nice run up to $5, 550-ish or 549, but yeah, it's I mean, if you got in at those levels, it's definitely not good. I mean, it got pumped. And I mean, I've always said it in the past, don't get into any cryptocurrencies that are just being listed on an exchange. Wait for it to kind of play out and see, what type of chart pattern she is going to provide. And if you got in right away and then got out, that's great. If you got in at $1, or even $2, and you're thinking for longer term outlook, hold it for a year, yeah, you're definitely not being rewarded. Definitely not. But I mean, depending on what BTC does, I mean, this looks currently at the moment that it is consolidating. It's stabilizing. It's not grinding, downwards at the current moment. So this is nothing but consolidation, and the range is getting tighter and tighter, as we can see. There isn't too much of a gap between the up and down swings, especially. Let's see, what is this, a 1 hour chart? Especially the past 8 hours. The past 8 hours, the range between the actual high and low has been very narrow, and that's a good sign. That's a good sign of a healthy consolidation, where selling has diminished. And there's a lot of selling that happened. A lot of selling. From that 550 all the way down to $1.28, $1.23, they brought it down to. I mean, that's huge. But yeah, I mean, right now it looks good, but I mean, anything could happen, anything. So this isn't the time to, like I said, to put all your eggs into one basket thinking it's going to go back up to $5. It might be an area to say, okay, you know what? I would feel comfortable if she retests, these levels again for me to take an entry, and that would be like the 150 level. If she retests the 150 level, or even possibly, the 140 level, for you to take a little bit of a position and see if she can get to that $2 level, which at $2 it is going to have a little bit of a hard time. So it has a good amount of resistance, and these resistance points are basically within 25 to 30 cents apart from each other. So there's got to be a lot of buying well, a lot of buying that completely outweighs the selling in order for this thing to start really breaking these 20-cent increments of resistance that it's going to have. But yeah, I don't know. I would wait to see if this thing's going to crack to $1. And if it cracks to $1, that wouldn't be a bad entry at all. And more likely it would be a long-term hold. It wouldn't be something that you're going to scalp or you're going to day trade. It might be a longer term hold. Abdullah, I'm assuming you're talking about EOS. So you bought EOS at the ICO and sold a Kraken for $6, dude. those are some gains there. I'm not sure what the ICO price was. I mean, the low that it touched on Bitfinex was 50 cents. Well, actually, no. When it was listed, it was listed at $1.20 and then dropped real quick to 50 cents. And then after that, really, it hasn't looked back under $1. Yes, Bitfinex was hacked. Poloniex was hacked. Yeah, a lot of these exchanges were hacked, and that's why it's not safe to kind of have all your eggs into one exchange. Don't put all your coins or all your USD into one exchange. Student loans are supposed to be paid with cryptocurrency. You know what? I think a lot of people have probably already done that. And this is the opportunity for a lot of us to really capitalize, especially on, this bear market that we're currently in right now, to try to find a good bottom, to try to find a good entry. If you already have a position, this is not the time to be selling at a huge loss. This is the time to really be adding onto your position, and basically lowering your cost average. So if Ethereum gets down to that $125, $100 level, I think I will be putting in the $5,800 that I have into Ethereum to kind of lower my cost average, because right now my average is 317. I need to lower that average, so I need to buy back 50 more in order to lower that to half of the price of currently what my entry was. So but I would need it to get to that $100 level in order for me to add more to it. Poloniex is not replying to anyone. No tweets, frozen accounts. Yeah, that's scary. I haven't really logged on to Poloniex, to be honest with you. I use this, I kind of just use their, free charting without logging on, because you can really, any exchange, you can just go on the market or exchange and be able to view their exchange without actually logging on. So I haven't logged on in a very long time. But yeah, every exchange, has really bad customer service. Even Coinbase has bad customer service. There's a lot of people that have been trying to reach out to them, with issues that they're having. And you'll get an email saying, due to high volume, we'll get back to you within 72 hours. They definitely don't. I think I read about some guy who wired $200,000 into his Coinbase account, and Coinbase has not credited, have not responded to any of his service tickets. And that's scary. He's got $200,000 that's floating somewhere. More than likely, Coinbase has it in their bank account, and they're just earning interest off of it. Kraken has also been hacked. I don't know when they were hacked, but they were definitely hacked. And they've also had a flash crash, almost similar to what GDAX had, and they didn't make it right, for their customers at all. I think more than likely they were involved. I think Coinbase was involved, in the flash crash of Ethereum. I believe that they were buying in, at those, 10 cent, 11, 12 cents. $1. I think it was Coinbase that was buying them. If you really think about it, they had the ability to roll back those trades. If they rolled back those trades, then they would be rolling back their entries at a very cheap price. So I believe they had a part in it. They knew what that, $30 million, market sell order was going to actually do to the order book. And they use algorithm trading, on GDAX. Coinbase, will basically trade their own funds on GDAX. So, with their algorithm computers, they'll know exactly, how a $30 million sell order at the market level is going to affect the price. And, their bots, their algorithm computers will start putting in buy offers, at the 10 cents, 11 cents, 12 cents, $1 level. What's up with Bittrex? I didn't think there were any issues with Bittrex at all. But Bittrex is also used as a pump and dump exchange. So, you definitely got to be careful with a lot of the cryptocurrencies that are on there. I mean, let's take a look right now and see what's being pumped. More than likely, there's probably something that's up, 400 or 500%. There we go, 1,000, 1,100%. Let's see. I don't know if any of you guys had a position in this. I remember Logan. I think you might have had a position in Storgy. So if that was the case, but for some reason it's indicating that it was just listed, how does that make sense? You had low today of 1,817 satoshis, and the high was basically 1 BTC. I mean, taking it from 4 cents all the way to $2,375. I mean, that's crazy. But yeah, being listed on an exchange pump, that's basically what that is. MTL up 98%. Let's take a look and see what MTL is. Yeah, you know what, Abdullah, I've heard about that with Kraken. Very low liquidity, and that's not good at all. Not good for you to be able to get in and out. If you're day trading, now if you're holding long term, it's not a bad thing, because eventually you will get out. But yeah, if you're looking to just day trade it, swing trade it, then yeah, it's low liquidity is not good. So this was just listed as well too. Let me see. I know it was listed on the 8th. And of course, anything that's listed, I mean, gets pumped and then gets dumped. Finds a nice little bottom of 36,000 satoshis. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have known to get in this at 36,000 satoshis. I would have been like, it's probably going to go down further. It could easily go down to 20,000 satoshis. But no, this is actually a nice recovery, from a bottom. Usually, when things are listed on exchange, they'll hit a nice little bottom, and they'll just consolidate for a good amount of time. But yeah, this hit a bottom within a couple hours, really, and then really trended upwards. With nice little corrections here and there, but nothing bad that would say, okay, you know what, she's breaking below previous lows. And, this really hasn't broken below previous lows, especially, as of July 9th. But yeah, I don't think this is a pump and dump. This would have only been, it would have been basically a 2-minute pump, a 2-minute dump. That's basically what it would have been. So I don't know if there's any news out on this on MTL, Mattel. I've never even heard of Mattel. But if there's any news out on it and it's positive news, then yes, you know what, this is a very significant, uptrend. But you just got to be careful with something that's up so high that it's up on no news. If it's up on no news, then more than likely, it's a pump and dump. They're pumping it to dump it. All right, I got about 5 minutes. I'll try to answer these questions as best as I can. And then I do have to get off this live stream. And if you're new to this, don't forget to click on that subscribe button as well as the post notification. And then stay connected with us on Steemit, Twitter, as well as Facebook. And thank you to anybody that is on Steemit right now that has basically uploaded our videos and that's following us, as well as the people that are live streaming this on Steemit as well too. And if you haven't set up a Steemit account, it's a great way to actually make money by writing articles, making vlogs or whatever it might be, and posting it on Steemit. It's a great way to actually earn some Steem dollars. Bitfinex is not bad. I haven't really had any issues with Bitfinex. I just don't like their commission. I mean, you end up paying a good amount in commission, but I've not had one single issue with them. Actually, just a little minor issue where it took a while to receive, because I was doing arbitrage basically from GDAX to Bitfinex, and it took 4.5 hours for my Litecoin to go from GDAX to Bitfinex. So I don't know who to blame on that one, whether it was Coinbase that was holding it or it was Bitfinex that wasn't releasing it. But no, other than that, I mean, I haven't had any issues at all. It just sucks that I can't really, deposit or withdraw USD yet. Yeah, no problems, knock on wood. Yeah, that's well, on Bittrex, yeah. I haven't really traded on Bittrex too much, but it doesn't seem as though Bittrex is having the same issues or as much issues as Poloniex has. I think that's why they got rid of the troll box on Poloniex. I think people were just ranting and raving. But you got to remember, I mean, any of these exchanges could have those issues. Just because they don't have the issue now doesn't mean they're not going to have the issue later on. All right, so let me see. Oh man, a lot of questions. Yeah, I'll definitely have to research this Superman and his group. But I mean, there's he's not the only one. He's not the first. He's not going to be the last. There are pump and dump groups all over this cryptocurrency market. And I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even join them, to be honest with you. Because you are going to be the sheep. You are the one that's going to be providing them liquidity. That's going to be basically putting BTCs into their hardware wallet or wherever they're storing it. You're giving them money. So I wouldn't even join them at all. They lead the newbies to slaughter. Yes, they do, man. They do, and it's sad because those newbies are never going to come back into this cryptocurrency. I mean, they were like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. They might just be done with it, and that's not a good outlook for the whole cryptocurrency market. Yeah, I mean that's Ryan. I mean that's crazy. They're telling people that CHC is going to go to 100. I mean, it's just not realistic at all. And hopefully they can kind of read through the lines and say, okay, you know what? You're pumping this for your own purpose, and that's why you're pumping it. But yeah, and some people fall for it. That's a problem. Some people fall for it. If everybody didn't fall for that type of scam, these pump and dump groups wouldn't exist. They wouldn't have anybody to pump it onto or dump it onto as well too. Metal is a Coinbase killer. I'll have to look. I'll have to research Metal a little more. I'll definitely put that on my list. Yeah, definitely the volume is high, and I mean, and that's why I mean, even though it was just recently listed, I mean, it's just not flatlining. It's not dumping hardcore. Yes, it had a major correction, and they all do when they're first listed on an exchange. ICO holders are looking to cash out, but I mean, ever since the ninth, it's really been on a nice upward trend. It really has. So I mean, this indicates to me that it's pretty solid at the current moment, but anything could change since it's just been listed. That's funny, Josh. Newbies don't want to think. They want people to think for them. They want people to tell them what to do, and that's not the right way of trading at all. I mean, never follow somebody's lead at all, unless you're ready to lose money. To be honest with you, because really the person that's, coming up with analysis, I mean, I don't even follow my lead. If I take a trade, don't follow it, because, I'm ready to lose money, and you might not be ready to lose money. So I wouldn't even follow anybody's lead at all. But also too, with these pump and dump groups, you got to remember, I mean, they're pumping these coins that have not really moved at all. They can't pump and dump some of the bigger, top 10 cryptocurrencies. Big money is not going to allow that to happen. They don't fall for that BS, to be honest with you. It's just like the stock market. Big boys, that are trading, the top, 50 Dow, those are not being pumped and dumped whatsoever. They're only pumping and dumping these little tiny coins that haven't really been moving at all. How do you hide an order? You can. So on actually Coinbase. you're going to pay a little more. You're going to actually pay, instead of paying 0.2% in commission, you're actually going to be paying 0.3% in commission. But they all should have something to the extent of hide. I can click on hide order. So when I hide my order, I do pay a higher commission to have it executed. But if you're selling a lot at a very specific price, then yeah, the best thing to do is hide that order. Don't have it, out in the open where, a lot of people are going to either, especially if you're buying a good amount, if I see somebody's buying a good amount and I don't believe it's a fake wall, I'm going to hop in over top of them and try to get an entry in because I know that buyer is going to cause the price to go up. He's causing the stability of that cryptocurrency at that specific price, and it's not going to drop below that price because there is a good amount of support, with one person supporting it. But I mean, if they were smart though, they would just kind of, scatter those out, X amount between, whatever, 20 cents, 30 cents. And I've seen that before. I've seen, 10,000, orders on the sell side, and they're completely spread out between even amount of price points. So, they could be spread out between, 30 to 40 cents evenly. So you could easily pick those out. But, that's the smartest thing to do is probably to spread out those orders. And shares was heavily pumped by FOMO. A lot of these coins are pumped by FOMO. It's just that fear of missing out. They see what cryptocurrency has done in the past. They see that it spiked up 10x, and they believe, oh, you know what, this could spike up 10x. So I'm gonna go ahead and put money into it as it's already being pumped. That's the time that you want to be selling if you have a position. You want to be selling when the price is actually going up. Start to lock in some of the profit, not sell everything at once because then you're going to miss the bigger spike to the upside. But yeah, when the price is dropping, you don't want to be selling. It's hard to sell when the price is dropping. There's so many people that are exiting that door at the same time as you are. You want to do the opposite of what the crowd is doing. So if the crowd is buying, and you have a position, you want to start selling a little bit of your position. And then, when the crowd is deciding to sell, and they're panic selling, those panic dips are the best buys. Start buying those panic dips. It's easier to buy them. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of rumors too that are spread out. Whether it's Ant shares, LTC. I mean, there was a rumor about MIT working on on LTC, and Charlie Lee tweeted out like, I don't know what this is about. Like this isn't accurate at all. And I think that was when the price was actually going up to $57. What do you know? It corrected nicely, because it happened to be fake news. It's that FOMO, fear of missing out. All right, let me see if I can get to a couple more comments, and then I do got to go. EOS, I don't think EOS is a scam at this current time, but I mean, any of these cryptocurrencies could be a scam. Ethereum could be a scam, to be honest with you. I mean, I know it's a far-fetched speculation, but it could be a scam. But yeah, I don't believe EOS is a scam right now until, something later on down the road proves that it is a scam. Have we heard of Silk Road? Josh, actually, the guy that created Silk Road studied computer science at the local university that I'm close to, Penn State University. He was I think a grad student in their computer science program. But yeah, I've heard of Silk Road. And that was, that's really when I first started hearing about BTC. Before actually he was arrested. And I heard of Silk Road. I didn't know who was running Silk Road, and I was like, man, I'm like, they're using BTC, just to purchase all these illegal things. And I'm like, the price of BTC has to be going up. People are buying, just to be able to use it for exchanging for goods or services or whatever it might have been. And what do you know? The price did go up. And then, once Silk Road got shut down and the federal government confiscated, I forget how many thousands of Bitcoins. It might have been like 39,000 Bitcoins. I could be wrong with that number, but yeah, it definitely drove the price down. The F killer, they called it, huh? For Ant shares? Yeah, I don't know about that. It's just like a lot of these other cryptocurrencies are supposed to be, the Bitcoin killer. Nah, dude. You know, I think Ethereum is too strong to have a major competition that's going to basically destabilize, you know, what Ethereum has going for itself. And same thing with Bitcoin. You know, I don't think there's anything that's really going to be out there to compete with it. Yeah, you know, they could try, but more likely they're going to fail. My new house is quiet. Dylan, welcome, buddy. Yeah, dude. You know, I'm down in the basement, so the kids are upstairs. I think when I was doing a live stream yesterday, they were down in the basement, so I could probably hear a little bit of the background noise. But no, the setup is so much better than what I was previously in. Prior to this, I mean, I was in the living room with the TV and the kids running around. But yeah, got my own office now, so I'm still open in the basement, but at least I'm kind of stuck in my own little hole in the wall. All right, so 2 more minutes, and let's see. Best coin wallet to buy, multiple altcoins. You know, a lot of people. I mean, I wouldn't use Jax. You know, with the issue that they had. A lot of people use Exodus. I haven't used Exodus yet, so I'm sure some of these guys that are on the live stream currently right now will probably tell you a couple things about Exodus. But yeah, I would stay away from Jax at the current moment. You know, a lot of people had their funds stolen from Jax. Josh, yes, I have heard the story of Silk Road numerous times. And actually, I mean, when the story broke out, you know, there was a news article that ran a little segment about him being, you know, what universities he went to and what he studied, and Penn State University was one of them. But yeah, I mean, very smart guy. You know, I mean, he could have definitely used his knowledge for something positive. But you know, he created an illegal eBay, basically. I mean, very smart guy, but yeah, yeah, he's paying the price for it now. Yeah, I completely agree, Abdullah, with EOS. EOS, I mean, if you're able to get a good entry in, it is a long-term hold. It's not something that you're going to be in. Now, unless it runs up very nicely. You know, if it runs up from $1 to 450, of course you want to lock in those profits. Those are significant gains. But currently at its level now, you know, I mean, if it's just consolidating, it's going to be a long-term hold. Actually, Essie, that's a very good question. And if Logan is on here, he could probably explain that a lot better. I mean, he's been researching BTC, and he knows a lot about, possibly the split into two currencies. I don't know what the price would be, to be honest with you. I don't think it'll start at $1. I highly doubt that, because then where's the value of it? You know, let's just say you have 10 BTCs, and we get a split. You know, you're going to have 10 of Bitcoin unlimited, and you're going to have 10 of Bitcoin Core. So I don't think it'll start at $1. I think it'll probably start somewhere in a happy medium. Currently, right now, if you guys are looking at my Bitfinex, I mean, you have the ability to trade Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Unlimited, and these have been here for a very long time. And I've seen Bitcoin Unlimited go from $80 to 200, 300. It tapped that at, and then came right back down to like 175. Now it's at 231. Now volume is very low. I mean, this is probably the highest that I've seen the volume of 32. But Bitcoin Core, the volume is always it's usually less than $1, but you do have the ability to trade Bitcoin Core as well as Bitcoin Unlimited. So let's just say, the fork happens, and it happens today. More than likely, this could possibly be the price. Bitcoin Core would be $2,394, and then Bitcoin Unlimited would be $231, possibly. Yeah, and I don't know how they would assign coins, to be honest with you. I think, if you're on an exchange and they're going to support Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Unlimited, more than likely they're not going to support both of them. But if they are going to support both of them, then yes, they should, give you the equivalent of what you have on BTC as Bitcoin Unlimited. But if you're not on an exchange, let's just say hypothetically you're on a Ledger Nano. I'm not sure how that would work. I'm sure Ledger Nano has put out a press release on how they would support the hard fork. I haven't really read into it yet, though. Do I think F could go to 100? It could easily get down to 125. That 100 is really a psychological level to see if it's going to break below it. If it breaks below it, it's going to be scary time. But if it can maintain above 100, I think we're in the clear. All right, let me see 2 more questions, and then I do got to go. My kids are kind of bugging me and saying it's time to go. What exchange hasn't been hacked? I'll have to do a little research on that to see what hasn't been hacked yet. I don't think Gemini has been hacked, and I don't think Coinbase has been hacked yet. But Bitfinex has been hacked. Kraken has been hacked. Poloniex has been hacked. Bittrex I'm not so certain about. Yeah, I agree, Ryan. And it's just not Mt. Gox. I'm glad that Mt. Gox is actually, basically stating that they use those bots for pumping the price up. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Every exchange will. But those exchanges want a profit. They want as much profit as possible. The profit that they're getting off the commission is it's not enough. They are holding cryptocurrencies, and they want to be able to sell those at a profit. What do you think their bots are going to do? They're going to pump up the price to get it to the level that they want to sell at. ETC pumping. You know what, dude? I mean, I'm surprised what ETC has done. I was looking for that $10 level, but for it to go from 12.30 to 17, 78, that's pretty impressive. Those are significant gains, and Ethereum hasn't done it yet. Litecoin hasn't done it yet. BTC hasn't done it yet. So that's pretty solid for ETC to be gaining $4 or $5. All right, guys. So I think I got to all the comments as best as I could, but I do have to get going. I want to definitely thank everybody for joining, everybody that hit that thumbs up, especially if you find this helpful. All the new viewers that are on this, and if you haven't clicked on that subscribe button yet, please click on that subscribe button as well as the post notification, and then stay connected with us. Sign up for our mailing list by going to our website, which there are links at the bottom of this video, or you can just go to CryptoTradersRoom.com, and also stay connected with us on Steemit, Twitter, Facebook, and if you have a Steemit account, definitely help us out and click on that upvote button as well as following us. That will definitely help us out. But thank you so much. Have a great day. Until Friday, this is Crypto Traders, and we'll talk to you soon.